You're listening to the Hustled Up podcast. I'm Laura Natoli.
And I'm Holly Silva, and we are best friends since birth turned multi-passionate entrepreneurs and co-owners of Chores & More, a successful service-based business where everybody is treated like a best friend.
Welcome to our show where tactical business education meets fun and real conversations about this wild journey called life.
Get ready to be inspired. Grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up.
Hello, friends, followers, listeners, fam, Hustled Up fam. Welcome back to another episode of Hustled Up. We are your hosts. My name is Holly.
And my name is Laura.
And we are so excited today because I'm sitting in a new gamer chair.
So cute. I'm so jealous. I've never been more jealous of you in my life.
I just started messing around with streaming gameplay, just for fun, but it can be a second stream of income, but we're not going to go there yet until I master that. But I am just so excited. I'm excited to be back here, and I'm excited to be talking to you guys this week. We have a really fun topic that we're going to discuss, but before we jump into that, I do quickly want to remind you, y'all are going to be like, can you shut up? But I quickly want to remind you, if you love what you hear today, to quickly pause this episode, go leave us a review or a rating, a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple. If you're on YouTube, the old thumbs up, subscribing to the channel. It will really help us get our message out there. And we're 100 episodes in, more than 100 episodes in. We should be popping the off, and we're not quite where we want to be. So your support means the world to us. If you can go ahead and give us some ratings wherever you are listening, we will love you forever. But okay, let's get into the topic. ChatGPT helped us name this topic, so I can't take full credit. But it's so good because we wanted to really come at you. We've been doing a lot of tactical stuff, I feel, right, Laura?
Yeah, we have been. I'm sick of it.
so tactical. And we were like, oh, we could do more employee stuff and this and that. And then I was like, nah, bruh, we got to hit them with some mindset today. And especially because Laura and I, it's gloomy out. We're all feeling kind of like, and we just need a little picker-upper. And whenever we do these mindset episodes, I always feel so much better, even for myself. So ChatGPT helped us name this. It is, we're gonna call this episode Fail Forward, and why setbacks are an important part of the journey. And I know we say all the time, if we want you to avoid making the same mistakes that we did, right? That's the whole point of this podcast. But the truth of the matter is you're still gonna up. It's gonna happen. You are going to fall down and you're gonna have to keep getting yourself back up. But the beautiful thing is that you have to. It's an important part of the journey. Every fail is a learning lesson. And so we're going to talk about some of our big fails in business and just kind of explain why they helped us get to where we are today. And I'm sure this will not be the end of our fails. I'm sure we'll fall plenty more. So maybe we'll do a part 2 next year when we make a bunch more mistakes. But either way, we're going to talk about some of the setbacks and some of those fails that got us to where we are today. And hopefully this will serve as a little bit of an encouragement type episode. And hopefully when you're done listening to this, you're feeling a little motivated to tackle on the week, do the hard things, and pick yourself back up and keep going. So without further ado, let's cut to the commercial. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of spending your entire weekend cleaning when you could be going out to brunch with your girls?
First of all, I love brunch. And second of all, yes, there are so many things I could be doing instead of cleaning my house on the weekend.
Oh yeah, like playing video games.
Or watching a movie with the kids.
Going on a date with your significant other.
Taking your dog to the dog park.
Going to the movies.
Solving world hunger.
Yes! Exactly. So this is why it is such a good idea to call up Chores & More for your deep and recurring cleaning needs.
And do you want to know something really, really cool?
What?
If anybody mentions Hustled Up when they call to book, they can receive up to $100 off their deep cleaning.
Up to $100 off. What are you doing still sitting there? Pick up the phone now, mention our podcast, and never have to spend your weekends cleaning again.
Simply go to choresandmorellc.com. You can fill out a request quote form there. or give us a call, send us a text, 631-397-0177. It is time to get back to doing the things you love. Let us take care of the cleaning.
Okay, we are back. And again, we're going to talk about some of our biggest fails. And Laura, we've been through some ish. We've been
I
through
know.
some
I'm like, where do we
ish.
start, Holly? Where do we start? Like, there's so many.
So much to talk about. And at the end of the day, though, all of that chaos really helped us grow. It helped me grow for sure as a person, as well as a leader and an entrepreneur. And I think about like when we first started our business, like we were so freaking clueless.
So clueless. I mean, think about it. We didn't have a business degree. We had no background in business. A lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like they come from a long history of entrepreneurs. Their parents owned a business, this or that. We didn't come from any of that. So we completely were just flying by the seat of our pants, just making it up as we go. So it's not surprising that we didn't know what we were doing.
Had no
How would
idea.
we?
No clue. No clue. I know. And so we had to make a lot of mistakes. And I will say, you will probably make less if you collaborate, right? Like if you collaborate with people in your industry and, you invest in a mentor and stuff, like you may not fail so hard all the time the way we did.
Yeah.
The first like maybe 4 years of our business was just one big series of fails. And so
Yeah,
and
I
we
say the
still
first
managed.
5 years don't count. They don't count.
They don't. And it's funny because we still grew our business. We still grew it even though we were messing up left and right. And it's funny. It's funny that we were able to do that, but we would not be where we are today without those fails and without opening up about those fails to people in our industry who have helped us, who were able to help us get past certain things. So the first fail that I want to talk about, Laura, is the fact that we used to hire anybody with like, they didn't even really need legs. Like if they had a good set of wheels, we would have brought them on board at
Mhm.
that point. As long as they had a heartbeat and some arms to hold the products, probably. Um,
Yeah.
we used to hire just everybody. And that was a fail. That was a major fail. Opening up our business to just anybody who walked in for their interview was a major, major fail because
Yeah.
we hired some freaking jerks. I gotta say, it was
Yeah.
just not good. We were hiring people who, and I'm not saying everybody who we hired had bad intentions or anything like that, but just not serious about the job, not serious about working. Young people who just didn't really care. And listen, I was young. I was young at one point. I also did not care about my jobs when I was in my 20s. Not saying that I wouldn't hire anybody like in their 20s, but only looking for serious people now.
Yeah.
Not looking for people who are just not going to give a crap about their paycheck or about the job or like take pride in the company that they work for, right?
Yeah.
And so we had a full crew at one point and it was just pure chaos. It was, it's like I say it, and I've said it before on this podcast. I'm not even being dramatic when I say that like every day was a panic attack. Like that's how bad it was because we were dealing with nonstop call outs, employees arguing with each other, tons of drama in the company, um, employees who thought they could run it. They were crossing boundaries with us, but not blaming them. We didn't know how to set boundaries. Um, and so we failed hard with the first like few people that we hired. We did not know how to communicate. We did not know how to set boundaries with them. We did not know how to set expectations with them. So let's fast forward to what we do now, right? Like what
Yeah.
does that mean? Like there was chaos. We did not have boundaries. They ran our business. We cried a lot. There was
Mhm.
a lot of crap. And what do we do now? What have we learned about since then? Like what did that setback teach us?
Oh my God. Well, it taught us so much because it taught us to be extremely picky when hiring. We've said it before, we are extremely picky when hiring. And something else really important that I think it taught us that we didn't mention was to set that boundary. Your employees are your employees. They're not your friend. They're not your friend. Because that's another huge mistake that we made with these people. Not only did we hire chaotic people, we also told them, hey, we're your friends, we're your buddies, we're gonna, it's cool. And I want to put a disclaimer really quickly that I'm not saying that you can't care for your employees. I'm not saying that you can't be there when they need somebody to talk to or a shoulder to cry on, or you can't laugh and hang out with them and spend quality time. I think all that's really important, and we do that. I mean, we literally had one of our girls, Kim, in yesterday, and she just
Love
came
Kim.
to pick
Love
something
Kim.
up. Love Kim. She stayed and hung out for like 2 hours chatting with us. So that's fine. I'm not saying that. You should be connecting with your staff. You should be, bonding with them. But at the same vein, there's certain things you don't talk about. There's certain lines you don't cross. And we were crossing them left and right. And the reason that I say we learned so much from this is because we've had that thrown back in our face. I remember one of our employees came in, he was very disgruntled, and he said, I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends, and I was like, whoa, we set the wrong precedent there. So I feel like the biggest thing it has taught us is to set those boundaries and to treat your employees like employees, not friends.
Yes.
Not
Yep.
friends.
Yep. I think that is so important. And something else that we learned, like about boundaries with our employees. Back then, we used to communicate through text. It was always through text message. Like everything was through text. And as a fellow introvert, I loved it because I don't want to have in-person conversations. I don't want to confront. But after all of that happened and we, shifted our entire business and completely overturned our staff, like, because we had a complete staff overturn after like that chaos. We were like, okay, we can't communicate through text anymore. Like we'll communicate through text if it's like, oh, here's a room door code. I said room code because I'm in gaming mode. Here's the door code. When did you clock in this morning? I'm not seeing you clocked in. Maybe there was an error with your timesheet. Whatever, like like little things. But I'm gonna tell a story, and I'm not throwing shade at this person, but I'm gonna tell it. Last year, at the end of the year, we had actually rehired somebody who worked for us during that. It was towards the end of like that very chaotic season, but still, our boundaries were still not perfectly there. They were better, but they weren't perfectly there. And we had rehired her, and things were going really, really well, super well. And she was an incredible cleaner. I really cared about her as a person, but she had her own set of issues. She wasn't happy with her life. She had a really rough upbringing, but I learned my lesson the first time. I could not be there for her on a personal level. But when it came to the business, I was willing to bend over backwards for this person. The only thing that Laura and I required was an in-person conversation because we knew from back in the day that text messaging or email, online communication, it does not work. Digital communication does not work with employees. And to be honest, it doesn't really work with clients either. But that's a topic for a different time. So every time she was feeling upset about something, whether it was her skin allergy, she was having, poor thing, was having issues with her skin, the chemicals were bothering her. I bought her all these different kinds of fancy gloves. She said she wanted to make more money. We said, okay, what do you want to do? But every time that happened, we said, you need to come in for an in-person conversation. You need to book time with me to come in. You need to come in. You need to come in. She did not want that. And she ended up leaving. She ended up resigning. She just was not willing to come in and talk in person. I don't know why. To this day, I don't fully understand it, to be honest, because it's not like we don't give any reason. You guys, like everybody who listens to this podcast pretty much knows us on a personal level at this point. If you don't, you can kind of tell we're pretty nice freaking people. We have gotten stern. We've gotten stern. We've gotten like, we set boundaries and expectations. That's something we have learned from our many setbacks in the past. But We are nice. We don't give anybody a reason to feel like they can't talk to us in person. And in fact, we kind of annoy our current staff about that. Like, if you are feeling something, if you're feeling any kind of way, come talk to us in person. We are here for you. Um, she wasn't having it. And so she ended up weaning herself out. And I think that if we hadn't learned from the past that online communication doesn't work and digital communication doesn't work, because that's always how she tried to communicate, she probably would have stayed and it would have just constantly been problematic. She would have always been complaining. She would have been complaining about her hands and the allergies, and but she wants more hours, but she can't work them, and all of these things. And it would have been just an entirely huge headache for our company and for me and for Laura. And so having that like rule, you know, that we have set now, because we don't mess around anymore. Like, the rule is you have to talk to us in person if there is an issue, and we have told our current staff that now. You know, we said that we had a literal meeting about like our communication rules. We should do an episode on that, Laura.
Oh, yeah.
just,
Definitely.
just thought of it. But now they know, and for that reason there's no like petty like messaging, misconstrued tones, nothing like that. And as much as I cared about this person, I hope nothing but the best for this employee, she was not a good fit for our company, and we were able to like cut it where it needed to be cut, get her out. And well, she got herself out, but she wasn't a good fit for that reason. And so I feel like that helped us, like those experiences from the past helped us really set tight boundaries and rules that are not like, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but like unreasonable.
Yeah.
They're not unreasonable. Like, they're very reasonable rules and expectations and boundaries that we've set. And to be honest, I think we sometimes still like we blur the lines still a little bit sometimes. I do feel that way, not in like a bad way. But if we hadn't made all of those mistakes with our like last set of staff back in, that was like 2021, I would say, we really would not be able to, we would not have these amazing, incredible boundaries and rules set today and have the relationships that we do have with our staff. We have like, it's like wild how good like our relationship is with our staff.
I think there's that mutual respect there. I think that that's where it comes from. We didn't have mutual respect for, with our old staff. With this staff, we have so much mutual respect because within the same meeting, we can laugh and joke and have a good time, and then say, okay, we need to talk about something serious, or, we can discipline them in a way that's respectful, still kind. Because I think even when you're disciplining people, you need to be kind. So we have that mutual respect of, we can laugh with you, but also they know if they mess up, we're going to bring them in. We're going to have to talk to them. We're going to write them up. And that's okay because they understand. Like, you have to have that mutual respect, that radical candor. We did a whole episode about radical candor and being able to be radically candid with your staff about communication. And that just was not there before. Like, if they were late, we would, they were late time and time again. We wouldn't say anything. We wouldn't address it. And then that sixth time that they walk in late, we would snap and lose our stuff. Now we track everything. We keep track so that when we do have these in-person one-on-one meetings with them, we can say, hey, you've been late so-and-so times. You need to fix this issue, or it's going to be a problem, or it's going to be a write-up, or it's going to be termination, whatever that may be or look like in your company. But it's wild how much things have changed. And I do think that we blur the lines a bit just because Holly and I are very, like she said, friendly people. We're very bubbly. We're very animated. So I do think that it can be hard to cross those lines sometimes. But at the end of the day, like I said, I do think that even with those blurred lines, we do have that mutual respect, and they have it back for us, I would say.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think we've done it well. And I've worked for a lot of places where I didn't feel like a connection to my boss, and I didn't like it. So I always want them to feel that connection to us. And I do feel like, maybe slightly blurred boundaries, but overall, like it's a more like a, wash my hand, I wash yours. What's the word? Like,
yeah, I wash your back, rub your back, wash your hands. I don't know. It's no, I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Yeah, maybe.
One hand
washes the other.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I give you a massage, you give me a massage. That's some blurred lines.
Yeah. And like, and even just yesterday, like I was thinking about this. We have a wonderful employee, I love him to death, who had car issues. And he was like, oh, like my car's fixed, I'm back up and running, that's great. I totally spent more money than like I wanted to spend. Old Holly would have been like, oh my gosh, like I should give him money out of my wallet. Like, that's what old Holly would have done. New Holly immediately was like, well, not to worry, because I will load you up with work if you want to make money to make up for the expense of your car, because that's just the boundary. Like you don't, like, I read all the time, and I feel like especially in the cleaning industry, because we are so like, we want to give back, like we want to always do things for people, right? And so I feel like we're always quick to be like, I'll just give you my shirt. I'll just give you the shirt off my body and I'll freeze. Like that's how we are. We just care so much. But I feel like I see it all the time where people are like, and we did this. We did this
I was
actually.
just going to say, I can think of a very specific time where we have given way too much, multiple
Way too much.
times. Way too much.
Way too much. We back in like and I've read that other people have done things like this. Maybe not this exact thing, but Laura, why don't you? I know what story you're thinking of, so I'll just let you.
So we had an employee, and it was one of the first employees that we had that it was an acquaintance, but not family or friend. It wasn't a family or close friend. So a first outside kind of employee who we didn't know. And she had all kinds of issues, again, like rough family life. She was going through some financial struggles, and she wasn't even working for us for a month at this point, maybe a few weeks at the most. And her car got it got like repossessed. Is that what it was? Or it got,
Yeah.
it got repossessed. And we loaned her from the business thousands of dollars to get this car taken care of and get her car. And she hadn't even worked for us for a month. And it doesn't stop there. The same employee too. This is crazy. As I'm saying it, I'm like, we're crazy. The same employee also constantly asked for paycheck advances, money before she even worked. We would give it to her. I one time loaned her a couple $100 out of my personal money because she was going on vacation and didn't have enough money. Like, this is wild. As I'm saying this, I'm like, you're a freaking idiot, Laura. But I think it's just that, like, I feel, I don't know if you feel this, Hall, but I feel almost like a sense of responsibility for my employees. Like, I feel like they're my little babies. They're my children, even though a few of them are older than me. Yeah. Even the ones that are older than me, I'm like, you're my little baby. I need to nurture you and take care of you, which I think is great. But again, there has to be a boundary, because we did all this and got very little in return in terms of work ethic and just appreciation.
Well, I remember that same employee, when she left, she was like, this is me getting a little shit talky, but that same employee, when she left, she called us the worst bosses she ever had.
She said a nightmare. They're a nightmare to work for.
Oh yes, that's right.
A nightmare
to work for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing is, and I had to learn this lesson the hard way, and I'm still learning it, I feel, because I still get a little booty hurt when I give and I don't receive. But you have to set internal boundaries as well. So like if somebody ups and quits, don't like take it personal. Like if somebody if an employee ups and quits, and like they're not gonna, at the end of the day, it is still a job for them. So we had to learn that, like, they might have said, our old employees, like, oh, I thought you were my friend, but we weren't their friends. As far as anybody was concerned, it was a job for them. And more often than not, an employee will up and leave if a better opportunity comes. And so don't go out of your way and put yourself in a bind for an employee thinking they will stay with you forever, or they will stay loyal to you or whatever, because that's not always the case. It's just not always the case. So always keep your guard up, keep your boundaries set. And that was a major setback and we ended up losing. It was actually crazy. Like, you like talk setback. We had, I think, 11 techs that were part-time. And by that was in like December 2021. By February 2022, we were down to like 4.
It's crazy.
Because everybody was either quitting or being fired. So we had to do like an entire staff overturn. And that major setback was like, we were like, oh, what are we going to change about this? And for us, and I'm not saying everybody, not every path is the same, but for us, we needed the help of a coach, of a mentor to help us figure that out. We knew we were messed up and we knew we had to make changes, but we just didn't know what those changes were, so we sought help. So if you feel like you need to make change in your business because of a major setback, if you're not entirely sure what that change is, it's okay to seek help. You know what I mean? And come back. But those setbacks are a really important part of the journey. And that was probably our biggest one.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, staffing in general, I can go on for days about all the mistakes that we made with our staffing and not firing fast enough when we should have. But just to transition into kind of what we're talking about right now with a coaching and mentorship program, another big mistake that we made, which we acknowledge all the time, is that we sought out this coaching program and mentorship, CBF, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. We talk about it all the time. And we can admit it took us months. Like, what was it, like 6, 7 months to even implement anything from this coaching program?
It was, yeah, probably around, yeah,
Like
yeah.
probably like 7 months, essentially, because business owners are stubborn. And Holly and I thought we knew better. We listened to everything. We implemented a few things here and there, but the major things that were going to move the needle forward in our business, we said, oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it that way. I think our way is better. And I think it is kind of because we're that entrepreneurial, spearheaded, we have that kind of mindset. So we said, oh, we could tweak the program. We could tweak the program. And it took a major setback and lots of tears to come to the realization that we needed to give in and we needed to make the changes. So I'm just going to, again, tell a quick little story. So one day I was coming to bring, you guys know Ashley. We talk about Ashley all the time on this podcast. And she is the one employee who is a friend. She's more like family at this point to us because she was, she's actually dating Holly's cousin. So she is essentially family outside of work at this point. But regardless, a few years ago, when we were resisting the program, we weren't making the changes necessary. I went to go bring a mop to whatever house she was cleaning. She had lost her mop or broke or whatever. I was coming to bring her this mop, and I can remember this clear as day because I bring her the mop, and she goes, "Can I talk to you later? I need to talk to you." And immediately my heart sunk. I was like, "Oh my God, is she quitting?" And I said, "Can you please talk to me now? Like my anxiety, I can't take this. Can you please talk to me now?" And she was like, "No, I really think it's better if we talk later." And I was like, "Can you at least tell me what this is about?" She came to me and she said, "I'm not making enough money. And if I don't start making more money soon, I will be leaving." And I broke down. I don't break down in front of people for the most part. I try my best not to. So I said, "Okay, I understand, and I will talk to Holly." And then I got in my car and I bawled my eyes out. I called Holly and said, "Holly, we need to make changes and we need to make them fast or we're going to lose Ashley." And I would say at that point, Ashley, because I don't want to make the message of, just do whatever your employees say and just, give in to their every whim. That's not what this conversation is about. It's about Ashley is a key vital asset to us. And she at that point deserved to make more money. If you're paying good, because we pay very well and we've still had some people, "Oh, I'm not making enough money." I'm not saying give in to every whim, but we knew that this was serious and we were going to lose Ashley and we did not want to. And we needed to make a change. So I called Holly. I told her about it. And immediately Holly said, "Okay, let's do it. Let's implement this, 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 this." And now Ashley makes so much money and she is still here over 5 years later with our company. So it really took that difficult, hard conversation and the thought of losing an amazing employee who we care deeply about to push us to do the uncomfy thing. And now all of our techs make amazing money. Like our techs, seriously, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, they make really good money. Some of them make like $30 an hour. I'm like, how the hell do you do that? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like so good. So yeah, that was a major setback. Well, I don't even know. I guess it was a setback, right?
It
Like
was like a mental setback, like, oof,
a
we almost
mental
lost Ashley,
setback. Yeah, I like that. And I want to be the first to say, if you're listening to this, that you should never have key person risk in your company.
Yeah.
So if someone is threatening to quit and you can't make it work, you can't pay them more, or you can't give them what they want, you need to make sure that you have systems in place so that you can train other people to take somebody's job. And I'll say we didn't have many systems in place back then. So we did have major key person risk. But this was also a situation that it's a special circumstance because Ashley is kind of family and there was just
Mhm.
more to it than that. But
Yeah. And she wasn't making enough money. If she came to me and said that and she was making a lot of money, then I would be like, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do or work more hours. But she was working a ton of hours and was not making the money that she deserved. So
yes,
that's the
exactly.
difference there.
Exactly, because if you feel that you're paying a fair wage, a competitive wage, and an employee is complaining about it, but maybe they're not working enough, or like sometimes it's the situation's always different. Whereas Ashley was and still does work like 40 hours a week and was not making enough to make a living. And so we were like, and we had the solution, we were sitting on it, but we just didn't implement it. So that's where, because we were scared of change. And so that's where it got like it got crazy, and we were like, we gotta just give in to something else because our business was so broken. It was so broken, and we thought we could fix it with like the guide of a mentor and a half system, and like maybe do the other half on our own. But this is different. It's more than just like a mentorship program. It's a literal like series of systems and processes and procedures that you have to implement in order to fix your cleaning business, like what we are in. And so there was key person risk, but also there were things that were broken that she had to bring to our attention that like, and in this case, it was our pay scale. It was broken. And so we had to give in to and change it. And it was a huge mental setback for us, in fact, because that probably happened around, I'm going to call it the great chores and more employee turnover of 2022.
Love
that
that.
happened that happened like 8 months after, and we were already like, so we had turned over most of our chaotic, like crazy old staff. So we were finally starting to like feel a little bit of peace in the company. We hired some decent people. And we were starting to learn to set those boundaries even before joining our mentorship program. And we were slowly making a comeback, right? And then all of a sudden this happened. Like we were feeling like we were getting somewhere, and then all of a sudden she was like, bitch, I'm out if you don't start paying me more. And she didn't say those words, but that's when we were like, oh, this is another setback. There's another setback because now we need to figure like it wasn't even like we needed to figure out what to do. We were sitting on the solution, but now we just needed to do something really scary and start implementing without and we had to do it quick. So like it wasn't even like we got to do like full research on it, you know what I mean? And like understand it fully. We just had to like do it because we wanted to, it was at a point like do or die. Like either do this or you're gonna lose her. And we weren't at a point where we could lose her. And so like I said before, lesson to be learned also, do not have key person risk, have people cross trained, all that stuff. But this was a different situation. And so we had to do it, and we did do it, and we quick started our way right through it, which
Hmm.
Laura and I are both extremely high on the quick start on the Colby assessment. We'll need to do another episode about the Colby assessment too.
Yeah,
We
for
really
sure.
got to do
We've
an
been
episode
saying
on
that for
that.
a while. We got to do it. Yeah, you got to
Yes,
take the
yes.
Colby
Oh my
and the
gosh, love
disc. Oh
that
my gosh.
assessment. Oh,
Have
so
have
good.
we ever done an episode on the disc?
No,
Oh, we got to do it. We got to do
yeah.
it. So good.
So, but anyway, so we quick started our way right through it, implemented, and all of a sudden it was like magic. Like we just started seeing these like crazy changes. All of a sudden they're making money. Um, Ashley was like way happier. Like I would
Way
call her on the
happier.
phone. I would call her on the phone like while she was in the field for whatever reason. I needed something, she needed something, and she used to answer like hello, and I'll be like, hey girl, how you doing out there? And now she listens and I'll be like, hi, every time. It's so funny. It's like
It's
night
so
and day.
true.
It's so funny. So that was a major learning lesson though. And I'm gonna touch on one more because I know we don't want this to go on forever. Like there's so many that we could talk about, but and this isn't even really a setback for us, or maybe it is actually. Maybe it was. And we're gonna do a full episode on this because I really want to, and I'm getting a little sassy right now. Because what would a Hustled Up episode be without a little bit of Holly sass in my new gaming chair? I don't know.
Got the cat
With my
ears on the
Hello Kitty
chair. The sass
headset.
is there.
Period. Stop freaking saying that nobody wants work. Nobody wants to work. Stop saying it because we were like, oh, the setback is that nobody wants to work, right? That was what we thought a setback was. Nobody wants a job. And it wasn't until we joined our coaching program that she was like, it's not that nobody wants a job, it's that nobody wants your job, sis. And we were like, oh, so this kind of ties into the whole situation with Ashley because now we get tons of people applying. I mean, not that they all show up because people are nincompoops, and that is going to happen. But we have had so much success hiring really good people because we fixed our job. We fixed our company culture. We fixed our pay. We fixed our pay scale. We fixed our company operations to make it a fun experience for anybody who works for us. We have fixed our boundaries with our employees. Like we did so much fixing, and now because of so many setbacks in the past, and now people want a job. So want our job. People want our job. So stop thinking that nobody wants to work and stop thinking that's the setback. Before you make any changes or brush anything off or like really just anything, like literally before you do anything ever in business, you need to reflect, look within, take accountability, and be like, what can I do better? Like what is broken and how can I fix it? What problem am I trying to solve? And so nobody wants to work. Is it that nobody has a job anymore? Is that what it is? Like, are we all unemployed? Or is it that you don't have employees working for you because your systems are broken?
Yeah. It's the accountability. Nobody wants to, and I'm not going to say nobody, but a lot of people don't want to
Nope.
take accountability for themselves or their business. So it's
Yeah.
a lot easier to blame everybody else because it's hard to take a look in the mirror and say, is it me? No, it can't be me. I would want to work for me. No, Holly and I can
Yeah.
safely say when all the chaos was going on, I wouldn't want to work for Chores and More because it was chaotic. I don't like
Yeah.
chaos, so I wouldn't want to
Right.
work here. But now I'd freaking love to be a Chores and More employee. They have it
Please.
so good between the
I
pay, the
just-
job.
Please.
Like when I get to go clean and go in the field for a day, which doesn't happen often, I'm like, bye, Holly. I'm going to go have a great day. Like,
Peace
it's so
out.
good.
The amount of times I say to Laura, I'm like, I quit. You have the business. I'm just going to be an employee now. Because like they have it so good with us. It's like crazy. But yeah, I feel like we what we thought was a setback, which I guess it technically is, right? Like you can't find staff, right? That's a
Yeah,
setback.
that's a
So
setback.
when we had the great overturn of 2022, we had a lot of trouble replacing those staff members. And that was because while we started to make small changes to like the boundaries and whatever, we didn't make those like big, like necessary like changes. Like we didn't have the systems yet. We didn't have procedures. We didn't fix our pay scale. In fact, we didn't even know we had to at the time because we didn't do any internal reflecting. We just kept putting job ads out there and hoping someone would walk through the door. So when you are experiencing a setback, you need to look within and say, is this a setback because of me? Did I make a mistake? Or is it something I just need to avoid moving forward? Is it something I need to do differently moving forward? So that is why setbacks are inevitable to the journey and also an important part of the journey. But you have to make sure that when you are experiencing a setback, that you are studying it and figuring out like how can I learn from this, or what can I do differently, or how can I avoid this going forward? Because some people experience setbacks and they never ever learn from them. They're just stuck.
Yeah.
So I think that it's really important to always make sure you are looking at your own business, yourself, your operations, your mindset. Like there's so much to it. And for us, it took a long time to finally take accountability, especially me. I am so hard-headed and I always think I'm right.
You
And like,
no. Get out of
never
town.
right. Crazy thought. And so, luckily Laura just deals with my shit, but it's like but we had to do a lot. Like, I had to really like shift a lot of my mindset and be like, oh, I know nothing, bro.
It's honestly liberating though. Like it is so liberating to
It
be
is.
like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I can go get help." Or like, "Oh, I just failed." Like it's so much easier to just bury that failure under the rug, but it's like imagine the person that you're going to meet on the other side of that failure. Which is why I
Yeah.
love it's called fail forward because like now failure can be exciting. If you're like
Yeah.
sitting here and you're like, "Oh shit, you know what? My job is really bad." That's great. That's amazing news because
Yeah.
if your job sucks, guess who gets to fix that? You. If nobody wants to work, you can't fix that. You can't change other people, but you can change yourself. You can change your job. You can change your
Yep.
leadership. So it's liberating. It feels so good to be like, "Wow, I messed up. I could fix it." That's great.
Yeah, it is quite freeing.
Mhm.
It is quite freeing. Instead of blaming it on all the outside factors, like knowing that there is a solution to the problem in most cases.
Yeah, exactly. Whew, I do feel better on this
Whew,
gloomy,
I know.
gloomy day.
This was great. This was
This has
needed.
been
It was
needed.
fantastic. It was like, it was a little bit of tough love on myself too. I loved it. Loved
Yeah.
it.
It's a good reminder for yourself. Like, fail
Great
forward.
reminder.
Don't be afraid of the failure. We're all going to fall on our face, and then we're going to be better off for it.
Yeah, exactly. And without failure, I think there's no improvement. Like,
Mm-mm.
there's no learning without failure. So expect it, welcome it. And if you don't know the solution, ask for help.
Yeah.
And you
Period.
will and you will lift yourself up and come out on the other side. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, as
that was
always,
good.
I
That was
hope this
so
was
good.
helpful. Like, I feel like it helped
Oh
to me.
I'm gonna re-listen to this when it drops on Tuesday.
Yeah, when you're feeling bummed, just go back to this episode. And if you guys are like, "Wow, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I do own a cleaning business. I'm stuck." We can point you in the right direction of people who can really help you and save you time and save you some of those mistakes or give you that tough love and say, "Your job sucks. Go fix it."
Yes, you just have to be willing to take our criticism, because if you're not, I'm not working with you
Yeah, yeah.
or helping you ever.
Speaking from experience.
I have no patience. I have
Yeah.
no patience for people who don't want to take advice.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, in the meantime, y'all know where to find us. Go check us out online. Go see what we're up to at Hustled Up Podcast on Instagram, at Chores and More on TikTok and Instagram if you want to check it out. We got a little spoiler alert. We got some new Barry and Larry commercials coming out soon, dropping on the Chores and More page. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor. If you're in need of a good laugh, do yourself a favor. Holly is shaking her head because she knows like this is crazy. Go to the Chores and More Instagram and TikTok if you're in the mood for a good laugh or you need to pick me up on this gloomy day. You won't be disappointed. And as always, if you have an idea for an episode topic, you want to be a guest, reach out to us at hustleduppodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you.